Hi everyone, Mon here, Intuitive Soul Savant. Welcome to the channel and welcome to another week. We're going to look into the energy that's around with the planets this week. Okay, so we still have that stellium in Aquarius, and that stellium will be moving into Pisces, and then it will be moving into Aries. So this is very unusual, as I have said. That all of these planets are traveling so close to each other. They normally don't get too far away from each other, but at the moment and in the last month or so, they've been conjuncting each other back and forwards. Okay, even though nobody's in retrograde, no planet's in retrograde, they still move at a different speed. So that's why this is happening. So at the moment today, we've got the sun at 11 degrees Aquarius and the moon is in Cancer, getting ready to become full, the big mama, and that will be in Leo in a day or so, but we'll talk about that a bit later. So we've just had Mercury and Venus conjuncting each other in Aquarius. That was 24 hours ago. It's Saturday here today, 31st of January, Sydney time. And most of my American viewers will be sleeping at the moment, but you've got a video to wake up to, and I'm sending big hugs, big cyber hugs to you, okay? And we've got Mars is in the early degrees of Aquarius, so we've had Mars conjunct Pluto, okay? There was a lot of talk about that. One thing I want to discuss is there's so much astrology online now, and there's so many young people putting out videos, and we've got AI in the picture as well. We really do need to become discerning astrologers, because sometimes AI doesn't get it right. If you Google something and you just take that top option, I have found that it hasn't been 100% correct. So we really do need to have our discerning hats on when it comes to astrology and numerology these days, because people with just a few years, if few months experience in astrology are making videos, and it isn't all correct. And in a way, I'm not attached, but it is disappointing, you could say, to me after 40 years of studying and becoming to know the energies of the planets, because that's what it is. Otherwise, it's just words, it's just a story, it's just a textbook. The whole idea of astrology is first to raise your intuition, because astrology and intuition end up going hand in hand, and it strengthens your intuition, astrology and numerology, and the observation that comes with that. It's all about the observation. So if you study an aspect of astrology or numerology, you need to be out there observing friends, families, countries, whatever happens. You've got to be able to see the energy in play rather than just the words coming out of your mouth. And this is when astrology settles. And this is when you can call yourself a damn good astrologer, because you've observed the energy, you understand the energy, and also then you're able to understand the energy of your own chart. Hence, your makeup, the conflicting energies that make up yourself and myself. Okay, so we've got that stellium in Aquarius. Jupiter is still retrograding in Cancer at 17 degrees. Saturn is in those late degrees of Pisces. Now, we've had Neptune move into Aries in 0 degrees of Aries, and has left Saturn in those last 2.5 degrees of Pisces. So those of us that are on the last couple of degrees of our Saturn return, whether it is your first return, second return, or third return, 90-year-olds, we've still got a couple of degrees to go. All right. And we've also got the nodes in the Pisces Virgo axis, so there's still energy there. Then this stellium is going to move into Pisces, and while that's happening, we're going to have Mercury retrograde in Pisces. So it's not over, Saturn returns. Even when Saturn moves into Aries and conjuncts Neptune in Aries in that 0 degrees, there's still energy stirring in the Pisces part of your chart. Okay, it's not over until it's over. And, it has been a very interesting Saturn return because we've had Neptune in Pisces for the last 14 years. So we won't, in another 30 years' time, we will not have that energy. So this Saturn return has been very energetic and triggering and also life-altering for the good, right? Life-changing, this Saturn return for those that have been in that for the last 2.5 years. So Uranus is also in those last couple of degrees of Taurus, and at the moment it's getting ready for a station direct, but we'll discuss that. Pluto is 3 degrees 40 minutes, so it's closing into that 4 degrees very slowly. We know that on this channel. Pluto moves very, very slowly. Chiron is in Aries at 23, nearly 23 degrees. And as I said, the nodes are still in Pisces, retrograding back, okay? And that the nodes are at 9 degrees, North Node 9 degrees, 11 minutes of Pisces, and the South Node is 9 degrees, 11 minutes of Virgo. All right, so having those nodes there, as well as the Saturn return, as well as Neptune moving on, it's very active, that Pisces Virgo axis. And so it should be in the times that we're in now, the evolution of humanity. All right. Now, as I said, Mercury conjunct Venus yesterday. It will do that again when Mercury retrogrades in Pisces. It will again conjunct Venus on the 28th of February. Okay, but that's a little way down the track. So those two are moving very closely, our communication in relationships. All right, and this is very important. It will be important down the track with Uranus ingressing into Gemini. Mercury is making a sextile to Chiron on the 3rd of February, and because Venus is moving so closely as well, Venus will sextile Chiron in Aries. Okay, so that's another layer to the healing of our thinking, communication, both online and offline, in relationship, and also with our values, okay, and financially as well. So Mercury and Venus moving close together, we are being educated, Mercury, more about our relationships, okay, and as that huge stellium in Aries happens, then it'll be opposing Libra. All right, so it'll be about the self and others. All right, so we're moving into that energy. On the 2nd of February, 9:09 a.m. Sydney time, here in Australia, we have the full moon at 13 degrees and 4 minutes in Leo. All right, so the sun will be in Aquarius, 13 degrees, opposing the big full moon, the big mama, in Leo. Now, the only hard aspects, you could say, with this full moon is that the full moon will not be exactly opposing any of that stellium in Aquarius, but loosely, okay? So at 13 degrees, the sun will be opposing for sure. Mercury, that's sort of 4 degrees. Venus, 3 degrees, 4 degrees. Mars, a longer orb, okay? So there's no exact squares. There is just the opposition to the Aquarian stellium. Now, it's still a very important energy because we have Pluto in Aquarius, and all of those personal planets have conjunct Pluto already in Aquarius, And we talk about the fixed signs. We have this full moon in Leo, and Leo for the next 20 years is going to have Leo signs, will have their natal suns or any of the personal planets or your moon or ascendant, being opposed by Pluto. So, a Leo is just starting to feel the energies of Pluto. And from the Leo around me, I can see that already starting to happen. I can see the stress. I can see where the changes are needing to take place. By the way, I am still consulting in astrology. So if you'd like your chart done, we will look at all of that Naki energy. If you're a Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, or Taurus, or any of the other signs for that matter, okay? I'm very generous with my time and service. It's very personal, and you can look into the description box, and there'll be a link there where you can contact me or you can email me. If you don't want to go through the website, I can give you a little discount if you email me. And as I said once before, I'm very generous with my time. Okay, so that's that full moon, all right? And Leos will feel that energy as well as the other 3 fixed signs, all right? And if you've got any of those personal planets in those signs as well, all right? So we've got Uranus stationing direct in Taurus. That will happen on the 4th of February, Wednesday here in Australia. And it's like a big ship turning around. So yes, Uranus energy can be a lightning bolt change, awakening. However, it is going to be moving very slowly to turn direct. And once it turns direct, it will move into Gemini April 26th. All right. So we've still got those last degrees of Taurus, which Uranus has been across already. Okay. So when Uranus, when any planet retrogrades, the first hit is like awareness, and then the second hit, so the first hit, yes, an awareness. The second hit could be awareness of the changes needing to take place, and then that third hit is here we go. We're moving forward now, never to return. Okay, some planets, as in Pluto, can conjunct 6 times, 7 times even, depending on the position of that in your natal chart. So Uranus leaving Taurus. Now, we've all been challenged financially. There's no doubt about that. And our security has been challenged. They're all traits of the Taurus energy. We don't feel as grounded as what Taurians like to feel, or as secure as that Taurian energy likes to feel. That's because Uranus has been there awakening that energy. So we'll talk more about Uranus entering Gemini. It is going to be a big game changer for social media and also the communication in our relationships. Communication is Gemini's forte, and we'll discuss that further. So this will bring more changes to our day-to-day lives, okay? Because Mercury rules Gemini. Mercury is a personal planet, all right? We discussed Venus sextiling Chiron. I've written too low on my board here. So Mercury is going to square Uranus, and no doubt that'll be on Thursday, the 5th. Mercury will square Uranus because Mercury will be the first personal planet to move into Pisces, followed by the Sun and the other personal planets, Venus and Mars, all right? And as I said about the return of Saturn, here comes Mercury. So the work isn't quite done, even though on the 17th of February, Saturn will enter Aries. There'll still be that Mercury retrograde, and there still will be that stellium up until, the 20th of March. So we've still got a little way to work with Mercury in Pisces retrograding. All right, so I think that's about it. I've got some news. I'm starting up another channel, and that other channel will not be astrology and numerology. It will be spirituality, and it will be more for those who are, I'll use the word ascending, but really my heart is for speaking with those that are aware that this is their last incarnation as a human being on planet Earth, okay? And whether you're in one of your last incarnations, you'll know that you're at the end of your human journey here on planet Earth, and we'll be discussing spirituality, okay, and the grounding and integrating of divine energy. So yes, there's a lot of talk out there about the shadow and integrating the shadow and the inner child work and all of that. But once that work is, it's never really truly finished, but once that work, the majority of it is cleared, the divine, the new wine in the new wine skin, okay, because there's always a rebirth. And after the shadow work, after the inner child work, there's the integration of divinity and your soul, okay? And that's big work. Not everybody's doing that. It takes a lot of discipline to do that, okay? So I'm looking forward to that other channel. I'll let you all know if that interests you. But this channel will just talk about the astrology and the numerology. Yes, we've also coming to the end of the wood snake year. I've got so much to say about that. The wood snake year is the strongest it is at the moment with the animals. They build energy from the day it changes into the new Chinese animal. It builds energy. So I was born on the 17th of January, the year I was born. It changed into the fire horse on the 20th of January. Now, being in my early 20s, I had to hunt and dig deep to find out, speak to Japanese and Chinese people to understand whether I was on the cusp or what did that mean when it changed 2 days after I was born. And actually the energy builds. So I'm a very strong wood snake. However, the way it works out in our education system here, I went to school with all fire horses. So let's remember that. I have people locally asking for readings, and they are a fire sign with a fire moon, and because it's a fire horse, oh dear, I've got to have, whoa, this is what I'm talking about information online regarding astrology and the occult sciences. People are just taking it word for word and not understanding. If you're a fire sign, it's got nothing to do with you, the fire horse, okay? If you're a fire horse, yes, all right? So, we really need to come to understand what we're talking about here. Also, people are talking about, oh, it's a year one. It's a universal year one. You have your own life path yearly number that you're in this year. All of us as a collective are in a year one, but you're doing you have your own number. I fortunately or unfortunately, I run with the universal energy. I'm in a year one. It's a year one universally. That's not for everybody, okay? So we really do need to use our discernment on how excited we get about all these planetary placements. With Neptune moving into Aries, Neptune's energy is not electric lightning like Uranus. It's ethereal energy. The day that it moved in, nothing wild happened. It's a building energy, okay? It's an elusive, deceptive energy when we try to take the Neptunian energy as a material, touchy-feel energy. It isn't that, okay? And this is why it takes a long time to study astrology and come to understand the energies. When Saturn is traveling with Neptune, now that's another story, because Saturn is the materialistic manifesting energy in a lower frequency of vibration, three-dimensional. All right. So Saturn in Pisces and those born with Saturn in Pisces, they have a better understanding of materializing spirituality, because that's what they were born to learn, is the materialization, the practicalization of spirituality, where another can see just with their visual eyes that there's spirituality manifested there, right? Not bricks and mortar like a church. That's not it. Okay. So we will be talking about Neptune in Aries for a very long time, but it's just started. And I am not going to continue. I feel like I want to, but I'm not going to. We keep our videos short because people don't have the long attention span these days due to the social media and scrolling, all right, which is another story that we'll talk about with Uranus in Gemini. So it's lovely to be back. I'm just setting my videos for Saturdays. I'll make them on Saturn's Day, Saturday. As a Capricorn, I feel always energized on a Saturday. Yeah, and we'll just keep moving with that, as I said last week. Not my will, but divine's will. And that's how I live these days. I live quite secluded in, not so much secluded, I'm in sacred isolation, which I love because I'm changing and growing and rebirthing and what have you, and I really don't desire others out input unless they phone me, email me, or knock on my door. Then that would be the divine bringing that person to me and not my will. All right, but we're going to talk about all that on the other channel. So I love you all and thank you all for listening. If you've got this far, please like, comment. It helps with the channel. It's only a small channel and I don't mind that because, you know, we're discussing things that people that are into entertainment astrology, they probably would be bored with this, okay, because I'm not going to get all crazy and oh wow and wow and wow, you know, because that's not astrology at all. All right. Okay. Thanks everyone. Love you. Bye.